A lot of gift giving usually goes down during the holiday season, but how many of us take the time to actually think about how much we're spending? Shawn Stack joins us from Bromwich and Smith to chat about the true cost of Christmas, as you call it, Shawn. So what is the true cost of Christmas?
Well, good morning to you. The true cost of Christmas, really, there's different ways of looking at it, but the average Canadian spends about $643 on Christmas. But what's interesting is that 64% of us actually don't save any of that money coming up to the Christmas season. So all year we kind of know it's coming, but we don't budget for it.
And so it might be a little late for this, but at least going forward, how can we budget, or maybe there's still time for Christmas spending?
Yeah, it's probably a little late for this year, but that we shouldn't feel bad about that, and we shouldn't sort of give up on ourselves, because unfortunately we get into that habit and that negative talk. It doesn't help us any. So when we say that 64% of us don't really save, so come January, we can actually change that for next year. And all that really requires is thinking a little bit ahead and saying, okay, well, if I save $54 a month, I'll save that amount of money, which is about $27 a pay period, less than a little over $1 a day, really.
Which really, when you look at it that way, yeah, we just have to think ahead come January. So we might be tempted to buy on credit if we don't have the cash. Now, I have a feeling that might not be your first choice for us.
Well, yeah, I mean, the difficulty is because we're not actually saving throughout the year, and we don't have that money, we also don't plan our spending. So when we head out to the not so much the malls anymore, but as we're scrolling on our phone like we were talking about earlier, we start kind of getting caught up in buying the gifts for someone, and we're not really thinking about the budget that we've set or the future that's there. So it's okay if we're using credit to do this, but what we want to make sure of is that we're not carrying that balance at the end of the month, so that we're able to pay it off in January. And unfortunately, Carla, a lot of us don't do this. In fact, most Canadians carry a huge amount of credit card debt. $28,000 is the median that's owing. So if you tried to pay that off over 5 years, that's like $730 a month. And we just don't have that kind of resources.
No, absolutely not. So lastly, you have a few suggestions to give this Christmas without having that financial hangover in January, and in some cases, adding to that credit.
Absolutely. And what's important is we need to sort of look and try to move ourselves from gift giving in the sense of spending money, but gift giving in the sense of spending time. So, a lot of us this year, we spent a lot of time learning how to make sourdough bread at home during the pandemic. We can employ our baking skills. We can do homemade things. We can spend time with people. What's interesting is that because we don't talk about this enough, 33% of Canadians actually indicate that they're struggling with debt. So that's like 1 in 3 of us. But as we buy a gift for a friend, the friend then says, oh, I got to buy a gift for you. And then it becomes this vicious cycle. So if we can talk about this, if we can talk about maybe doing a Secret Santa, doing a gift exchange, or if we're saying, no, we're going to do this, set a dollar amount, set a small amount, and then make it, I don't want to say make it shameful if you go over, but make it clear that, if you set it, yeah, make it shameful. Just you can't, it's like, I spent $10 and you bought me a $50 gift. That's very frustrating. And then it creates this negative cycle going forward. So the important thing is we have those appropriate conversations, because really the spirit of Christmas, what we remember is more of the memories as opposed to the gifts that we've bought. And if we go into debt, we're not going to remember the gifts. We're not really going to remember the memories, but we are going to carry that debt for a lifetime.
Oh, isn't that the truth? Well, thank you for continuing the conversation so that, yeah, there is something we can talk more about if debt, you said, affecting 1 in 3. So thank you, Shawn. For more financial advice, you can find a link to Bromwich and Smith at ctvedmonton.ca under Morning Live.